The new iteration of Morality with Motamedi continues. And today we will explore a very, very interesting geopolitical question of morality. Lewis, if you were forced to kill a world leader, what would the moral way to decide who it is be? A few ideas that I have, but I'll first open it up to you. You're going to be allowed and you will be mandated that you must kill a world leader. How do you figure out who to kill?
I think the answer to this question is how many people do you either free, liberate, or how many people's lives are made better as a result of the elimination of this one world leader?
But I think that that is very, very ambiguous because you could say you could kill one world leader and improve the lives of 50 million people in the sense that they would go from earning $35,000 a year to $40,000 a year. You're improving the lives of 50 million people, though, in that sense. Okay. Or you could kill a world leader and it might result in saving, right? Taking a million people that were going to die and saving their lives. But it's only a million people versus 50,000. What do you do?
Okay. Well, you have to weigh that. So what would I personally do?
Yes, that's the question.
I would say the saving of lives is more important than an extra $5,000 a year for X number of people.
In what proportion? Saving one life is better than increasing the incomes of 10,000 people or 100 people or a million people? I mean, in what
Very
ratio?
hard to say. I can't, I don't know if I can put a number on that. So I would say, I know that there are people listening who would say, yes, it's more important to save that one life. But let's be realistic here. Eliminating one world leader is not going to save one person's life. I don't think you'll find a situation like that unless we're talking about there happens to be one political prisoner of some sort who's going to be executed in a certain country and you eliminate. Okay, kind of a ridiculous situation.
I think there's a few ways to think about this. One is, as Lewis is sort of alluding to, which world leader is responsible for the most suffering? But then the obvious question becomes, how do you measure that? And then there's a further question. Is he, when we think about the dangers that a world leader poses, of course we talk about to the people living in that leader's country. But what about to people in other countries, right? Would you say, well, I would pick the world leader who poses the biggest threat to the country I'm in? Or you would say, I don't care about country borders. I would just say, whether it's their own citizens or citizens of my country or of some third country, whichever world leader poses the greatest threat to the greatest number of people, that's who I'm going after. But there are other considerations. What about
what happens when you take out that leader?
Who is the replacement likely to be? Because you might find two world leaders, one who is more of a present threat to humanity, but who is far more likely to be replaced by someone just as bad. And you might find another world leader who, while not quite as bad, would be unlikely to replace by anyone nearly as horrible. Are these all factors you would take into consideration?
They are, certainly. That's an important one, a very important one, as we've seen what can happen when you take out a leader. I'm thinking of Saddam Hussein, of course, at the moment. So I guess where people want us to go with this is, who would I kill? Right?
Let's get to that.
Okay.
I think I know the answer.
Easy.
Can I say who I think you would say?
Everyone knows what I'm going to say. Everybody, I think. I don't think there's any... go ahead. Who am I going to say?
The new president of Argentina, obviously.
Very good. No, that is not the one. Of course, it's Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea.
Is there even a close second?
No, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. Because, I don't even know. Things could stay the same there. If you kill him, that's possible. I think in most countries, in most cases, if you kill a leader and nothing else changes, how different are things really going to get? There's a second person in place. Unless you were there like we were to completely destabilize a country like Iraq, I think things will continue along the same path. But Kim Jong-un's son is just a child. It seems to be that the next person in place would be someone in the military.
Well, I've seen what Kim Jong-un's son does on the playground, and I would be horrified if he were to bring that style of governance to international politics.
Yes, agreed. So I think, of course, it would be North Korea. And I would like to think that it's just worth a shot because I believe that the amount of suffering there it's incredible. We've talked about it extensively.
That when you evaluate this, to a certain extent, you're basically putting a point value to different types of suffering, right? I mean, you're basically saying, okay, saving someone who was otherwise going to die is worth 100 points. Saving someone who was going to be maimed is worth 50 points. Raising people out of hunger, but who were not at risk of death or being maimed is worth 25 points. I mean, you sort of, in some way, are taking a utilitarian approach here and saying, what is the value of the suffering I can eliminate by, if any, right? In this sort of hypothetical of killing someone, you are taking a very crude, and I mean, this is how insurance companies work with actuaries and just figuring out here's what a life costs and is worth in terms of insuring at various ages based on how likely they are to live.
In a way, although I am not actually going in and making those point values,
No,
and evaluating the whole thing at that level.
you're doing it by feel.
I do it by instinct, by feel, and by the limited understanding I have of what's going on in the world.
All right. Send me your thoughts on this one. As we often do, we'll allow 48 hours for comments and questions and reactions, and then we will do a follow-up on Thursday's show and see where we come out on this one. We will take a break. After the break, fascinating interview with futurist Gray Scott. I hope you'll join me for it.